Rocket Loon Fireball seems so much more confusing in Town Hall 17 than it did at Town Hall 16, but I'm here to tell you guys it is still so strong. You're seeing pros use it in pro tournaments and hard mode all the time and having great success with it, and I'm here to show you guys how to use this attack at Town Hall 17. The Rocket Balloon Fireball attack is still just as good as ever, and it might honestly be better than what we're used to because we haven't really used it a whole lot with the Electro Boots yet. Because the event troop is so popular right now, it's really taken over Legend League, and we're not seeing the Rocket Loon Fireball attack like we have been. We are still seeing it in wars and hard mode and things like that, but I want to show you guys the two different ways that people are really using the Rocket Loon Fireball attack right now. And really, you're going to differentiate that into, are you using the Flame Flinger or are you using the Siege Barracks? So I'm going to show you guys a replay using both and kind of how you're going to be able to do both. And then I also want to show you, slowly kind of break down these replays and show you my thought process from start to finish, a little bit of these raids, and then I'm going to do a live hit with you guys so that you can see it in action. And we'll try and do that one in hard mode too. So when I'm doing a base like this, obviously, the further I can get my Fireball into the core, the better. The core has always been one of the struggles with the Rocket Loon Fireball attack. You don't really have great pushing potential towards the core, and because of that, that's what the Fireball's for, right? So when I pick my target with the Fireball, which is this little poison tower here, I kind of draw the imaginary line of the range of the warden, and I just know that like all of the defenses basically on this side of the line need to be taken care of, whether they're going to be invisible or whether they're going to be destroyed by the warden or rocket loons, and then I can kind of launch my Fireball in that direction. My warden ends up heading off to the right here just a little bit, so I know I don't need to invis the warden tower or the wizard tower once it gets to that area, but normally I would do that. You're going to see it here. I know that it's closer to the poison tower now. I'm just going to launch it. I'm going to get the monolith, the fire spitter, the scatter shot. I should have gotten the ricochet cannon too, but I didn't place my invisibility or my earthquakes well enough. And then this is where you're going to find out. Obviously, this base is the one with the siege barracks, right? Because you've got a lot of ground expos and mortars that are ringing just the outside of the base, and to make a flame flinger work on this base would be kind of hard. And so what I'm going to do at this base is, as soon as I know what direction my warden's going to head after the Fireball, I know he's going to this right direction. As soon as he's far enough away to where I know he's not going to annoy my heroes or anything or latch onto them, I'm going to deploy my heroes just on the opposite side of this big, giant, gaping hole that my warden has made in the base. And what I'm going to do is I want my heroes, they're the only other thing that can really handle the core of this base. The Rocket Loons are not great at it. Even the Royal Champion's a little bit more difficult, right? Because you don't really get to control her pathing as well as you can the heroes. It's a little bit more difficult to funnel her into the core. So I'm going to use my Siege Barracks to block my heroes off right over here, and I'll wall break this wall here, and I want my heroes to come just right into this area here, and the Siege Barracks is going to destroy all of these buildings over here to make sure that that happens. So basically, I'm going to use my Siege Barracks to force my heroes into the only other scary part of the base that my warden cannot handle at this point because he's going the complete opposite direction, right? If he was going left, I would do this exact same thing, but on the right-hand side, right? If my warden was going left, I would just go right, and then I would use my Siege Barracks just on the outside to force my heroes into the mid here. This one kind of works out because I think it's a little bit easier for my heroes to deal with this than it is to the warden. And I think it's a little bit easier for the warden to handle this because of the walls and the way that works so it kind of worked out on this raid. And I just used the Royal Champion on the only other part of the base that's scary for my warden. The heroes I'm not as worried about. They don't have as much longevity as the warden because of the healers. So I'm just using the Royal Champion to make my warden's life easier. Essentially, that's kind of the only other thing. And then you're just going to be using rocket balloons and minions to clean up the rest of the base wherever you need to. Fire spitters are obviously, if you can avoid them, that's always a good idea. But sometimes you have to kind of go into one or two. Fireballing them is always a great target because of that. So you can see here as we're winding down to the end of this base, I think all of the rest of this ends up just being swag. I don't use the extra 4 spell space and or the rest of the army that's there. And the Yeti's there to kind of help the Flame Flinger get value if you need to distract a mortar or anything like that. So that's how you're going to use the Siege Barracks if you're going to use it with the Rocket Loon Fireball attack. Let's go ahead and get into an example where we're going to try out with the Flame Flinger. All right, let's go ahead and look at a base where I was able to find some value with a Flame Flinger. Now, again, that's what the Yeti is literally in the army for, is to distract a mortar long enough for the Flame Flinger to go ahead and get it. Even if that Archer Tower was maxed, this wouldn't have made a difference in that regard. So That's what I just put the Yeti down. I put the Flame Flinger down somewhere where the splash damage for the mortar is not going to get the Yeti. And then the reason that I used a mortar to snipe this building here was because I want my Flame Flinger to eventually kind of head to the left and not up. And I think that air defense going down is going to do that. And then with my Warden, if you can get the Monolith, that's obviously always a great target, or a Fire Spitter. Those are all really, really deep in the base, and that's going to make it really risky for the Fireball. So I'm going to settle, quote unquote, for the CC here by fireballing that Expo that's close to it. And one tip I would give you with your Fireball, if you can, find a trash building to have your Warden target while you launch your Fireball. That's going to save you so much headache and so much multitasking and so much risk. If you Fireball something that your Warden's attacking that's a defensive structure, obviously that's going to die when the Fireball is launched, and he's going to go to the next closest thing, so if it's a trash building, great, then he's not going to dive further into the base. I take advantage of that rage up there to speed my Headhunter in to save my Warden here so I don't have to waste another spell. At this point, I know that my Warden's heading down, right? He's going to clear some of these buildings and head right to the middle. And so I decide to do kind of the same thing almost with that Siege Barracks last time, but instead of using the Siege Barracks to force my heroes into the middle, I'm using my Queen to force my King into the middle, because if I can get him to open up a bunch of walls, that's going to make the life easier for my Queen. So I'm using my Queen to get some of these trash buildings out of the way so that my King will enter these walls here ideally. And then he'll pop his Earthquake Boots and Spiky Ball, and then that will help my Queen get access to a whole bunch of base that she wouldn't have had otherwise. So let's go ahead and just keep watching. Again, I'm just going to keep using rocket balloons and minions to clean up buildings that are not really a super threat anymore. And I'm going to use my Royal Champion. She's got the Rocket Spear on her. You can use the Electro Boots if you want, but the Rocket Spear is kind of the main thing here. I'm going to use her to try and get rid of the Monolith and to help my Warden get the Town Hall. I was hoping that the Warden would aggro onto the Royal Champion, but he decides to follow the Queen for whatever reason. I don't really know why, but it ends up working out either way. So he decides to follow the Queen over the Royal Champion for some reason. Oh, probably because there's healers there. Maybe there's more army space. Is that it? I don't really know. You can see this one gets maybe a little bit closer towards the end, but I still have a Rage. I haven't used 5 rocket balloons. 2 very healthy heroes and 1 that's being healed up right now. So really this one wasn't even super scary either. Let me try and see if I can get one of these guys to friendly challenge in hard mode, and we'll show you kind of live what this looks like when I'm doing it start to finish, because I won't know whether I'm going to use a Siege Barracks or a Flame Flinger, and we'll kind of decide all of this on the fly and show you what it looks like in real time. All right, this is the base that we're going to be hitting in hard mode. We're going to try and triple this. I'm trying to think where... See, if I could put my Flame Flinger down here, the splash damage will get the mortar, but then there's a ground expo behind that, so that's obviously not a great target. Where do I put my Warden, though? Okay, I guess I can start down here, right? I can distract this with the Yeti. That's what I'm going to do, actually. I'm going to do this. Oh, I didn't check the range of that cannon. That should be far enough. Okay. We're going to have the Yeti distract that. We're going to have the Warden start right over here. Ooh. Oh, my. Okay. Okay, use Coco Loons. Wow, really? Yeah, you really didn't get that? Okay, I guess we're going to finish it off with a couple of Rocket Loons. This seems kind of like a waste, but... Ooh, I didn't invis him or rage the healers. Okay, we got that Ricochet Cannon down. Off to a good start. Where do I... Okay, I want to fireball something that's going to get the Clan Castle. I probably should have mentioned that. Queen's going to get this Flame Flinger now too, actually, which is really unfortunate. I hope that they stay far enough away from my Warden to where it doesn't aggro him onto them, if that makes sense. Okay, what we're going for is the Multi-Inferno Tower. As soon as this Expo dies... Okay, we get the Clan Castle. Good, good, good. Hopefully my Warden will stay down. Oh, we're going to have to just rage him and maybe freeze the Monolith too. See if we can help at least just damage that. Okay, we're going to get the Monolith now. Awesome. Where do I want to put my heroes? I got to start putting them down somewhere. Let's just put the Royal Champion on this side. Maybe we'll force them mid. I don't have a Clan Castle to worry about anymore, so I can put these guys down here over here with this. And... Warden's still looking pretty good. Okay, we're going to pop the Queen ability maybe here soon because she's getting kind of wrecked and I could use some healers. Royal Champion does force my King into this middle area and we get a sick wall break. That actually really helps. Royal Champion's going down, but that's okay. King, please step up and just open up all these walls. That's literally sick. Okay, perfect. Now, just make sure my queen stays alive a little bit. Is it worth raging right here? It probably is, if I can keep my queen alive. Oh, queen, get the scatter shot. Okay, I think we might be okay on this one. You can see this army gets kind of hectic, especially in hard mode, but there you go. That's where we find some value with a flame flinger. I can't tell where there's trash buildings on this base because of all these decorations. We're just going to start spamming minions everywhere because I have no idea where they're at. Get wrecked. We're swagging spells in hard mode. All right, there we go. A little stressful there for a second, but we got it done. Okay, well, Rocket Loon Fireball attack. I don't even think I really need to harp on this a whole lot, but it is still very good. So still definitely recommend using it. It's a lot of fun too. So just to quickly recap, you're basically going to be using this attack in one of two different ways: with the siege barracks rather, and forcing your heroes into the middle of the base, or with the flame flinger. And you've got lots of tools in this army that I'm going to provide you guys in the description in order to get value with the flame flinger, but it's a lot harder at Town Hall 17, right? You've got fire spitters that have a lot of range. You've got the Town Hall that's got more range. All of this is going to make it hard to use the flame flinger. So don't be afraid to use the siege barracks. It's still very, very good and does its job very well. Make sure that your warden is not targeting a defensive structure if you can help it. When you're launching the fireball, it's going to save you a lot of headache and a lot of multitasking and a lot of spells. If you can control where he's going to go after the fireball has been launched, if you can, draw that little line just like I did. Get used to drawing a line across the defense you want to hit and finding out which buildings need to be invisible or which ones need to be destroyed, whether it's through the warden or through rocket loons. And doing this over and over again and getting better at it is going to help you guys become pros at this attack because the ceiling is really as high as each player's individual skill. That's going to do it for this video. I'll see you guys next time.